So the newest Raid Duel event is finally here, and we have got Quattro. And he might just be one of the best sexual characters we've had, and continuing the trend of Konami giving very good support to Zexal World. Let's take a look, see if he's any good, and do the full ultimate review. Let's go. But before we do touch Quattro, let's take a quick look at his brand new cards for this event. We have Twilight Joker, which I don't think people are going to be using. It's a special summon when a card's destroyed. Apart from that, if you can summon it from the graveyard or from the hand, it's not bad as a level 8 material. And then we have Gear Change, which I think people have been seeing some success with. But overall, I think the one you're going to want is this guy, Magnet Doll, from the last event. He's the more important one because he is just a free special summon if you have more than one Gimmick Puppet, which you're going to because of the skill, so he's just genuinely pretty good. But let's go into Quattro because this character might just be one of the best ones we've had. So first of all, his skill he starts off with is Strings of Fate, which does put Giant Grinder into the extra deck. Of course, it's available via the box, and there's a pretty cool other effect in that if you've used Giant Grinder's effect already, you can remove any material from your field to then play and exceed your opponent's graveyard to their field, which you would then use the material of Giant Grinder again to target it and destroy it. But that's not how it works, because Giant Grinder can only destroy special summon monsters, and this just plays them. This doesn't count as a special summon to my knowledge, so it's kind of useless unless you're meant to use this skill to then go into the rank 4 in the box, then steal, and then make them level 4 and go into another rank, another Giant Grinder. That might be it. But it's a cool skill, has a cool little gimmick to it. Pun, get it? But yeah, nothing too overly amazing, but cool. We can still at least get Giant Grinder for free, kind of. Moving on to the first card at level 3 is Xyz Effect, a trap card, which might be a very good free-to-play card. When you Xyz summon, you can target a card on the field and destroy it. Now obviously in top tier meta decks, on ladder, whatever, King of Games, this isn't going to be very good, it's kind of slow, but for early ranks, it's not terrible for decks that don't have any built-in, built-in destruction, right? Sure, you are going to summon turn 1, right? If you're going to Xyz, you're Xyzing turn 1, but if you can set yourself up for turn 2, it doesn't get Cosmic, then you have some removal when you summon, so it's not terrible, right? It's not a terrible card. Then we have Gimmick Puppet Nightmare, which is a new level 8 that I don't really like, because you can special this card by tributing a face-up Xyz you control, which to me is just okay. I've summoned Giant Grinder, I've used both its effects, it's kind of dead now, let me summon this. But then, if you do, you then summon out another Gimmick Puppet from your hand, with the same name, from your hand or graveyard, so you're getting rid of one Xyz to then make another, which does make sense, but you are then locked into Gimmick Puppet, so you can't go in for a big level 8 or rank 8 synchro. What am I talking about? Rank 8 Xyz, if you wanted to, you do have to go into either the Strings or the Nightmare. So, cool, but not a card I think that people are going to play, at least in the current form. Then we have the big one, Perform Puppet, which I believe is an ultra rare. And this I thought would be in the box, 100%. But this is, Quattro's version of Photon Stream of Destruction. Obviously not the same card, but you can banish one Gimmick Puppet in your graveyard to make all monsters you control that same level, which is really big. Of course, if you do have a level 4 and level 8 on the field, you can make them all level 4 for the level 4 synchro. Xyz, sorry. Or level 8 for the rank 8, which is fine. And if a gimmick is destroyed by card or battle, right, you can target one of your banished gimmicks and special summon it, which the deck does do. It does banish quite a bit to special summon other things. There's the Drury Doll in the box that you banish in the graveyard to then summon itself out. So this, I think, is going to be quite necessary for the deck. Maybe only at 2 copies, maybe not 3, but it's a very good card that they could have put as an ultra rare in the box, but they didn't, which is really nice. Then we have our second copy of Xyz Effect. We have our first skill, which is Numbers Rule, which everyone has. Okay, it makes sense that everyone apart from Tori has this and Bronk, so very cool. We then have another copy of our Nightmare, so that's our second copy of that. We have a second copy of the Perform Puppet. We have our first copy of number 40, Gimmick Puppet of Strings, a brand new rank 8 Xyz, 2 level 8s, once per turn detach one from this card to put a string counter on every monster on the field except this card, and then during the next end phase of the opponent of the player who placed a counter on this card, destroy the monster with the string counters, and if you do, inflict 250 damage for each one. This is part of Quattro's kind of almost FTK, right? Quattro, I believe, has more gimmick puppets that go into a boss that after a certain amount of turns wins you the duel, which we're not getting right now, and I don't think we'll ever get. Maybe we will, that'd be kind of cool if we do, but this is the next best thing, and it does just give you a bit of an out if your opponent's very low on life points, you don't think you can beat their monster, but you can put counters on them and then blow them up. It's not bad, right? And I think you run this at 1 or 2 copies of in the deck because there's not that many targets for the skill that you're going to be using, but still, it's pretty cool. And speaking of the skill, this one, Relinquished Puppet. This is probably one of the best skills we have in Duel Links for any deck, and I wish that every deck under the sun would get a skill as good as this. So send one level 8 Gimmick Puppet from your hand or deck to the graveyard. Then play Destroy, which is on the screen, from outside your deck. This is a Foolish Burial and a free monster summon in one, which is crazy, right? Because Foolish Burial by itself is a very, very good card. And this just puts your Drury Doll or your Bisque Doll in the graveyard. And if you put Bisque Doll, then you can kind of use the effect to then try and bait out any back row your opponent has, because then they'll have to target Destroy. This is a very cool skill, but it does, it is restricted to only decks that have Gimmick Puppets or Number Xyz, or Number Dark, in the extra deck, which is fine, right? You expect there to be some sort of restriction on it to have a skill this good. But I think still Gimmick Puppets are kind of let down by their overall card pool, and so over time they'll get better, hopefully, and this will still be the go-to skill to do. But Destroy by itself is pretty cool because you can target one Gimmick Puppet, including itself, and destroy it. But if this guy is destroyed, you can special 1 or 2 Gimmick Puppets from your hand. So if you have 2 level 8s in hand, you summon them both, there's your rank 8 Xyz. However, it's a when effect, so it does miss the timing if it is destroyed by things like Treacherous, which can happen very easily. So it's not a guaranteed, rank 8 on board just from this card, but it's still a very good card, a very good skill that I don't think you can kind of replicate. Then we have our third copy of Xyz Effect, we have our third copy of Nightmare, is it our third copy of Perform Puppet? Is that really 3? 1, 2, 3 it is, okay, cool. And we have our second copy of Strings, so kind of mimicking Kite to a T, which I hope they do for Trey. Right, when we get him, I hope Trey is this good. I really think that Zexawolf, they've kind of given, apart from maybe, Tori and Bronk, they've given every character, especially Kite, a very good representation, a very good set of cards and skills for them. Speaking of skills, well, a few others. We have things like Heavy Starter, of course, Overlay Regeneration, which is actually a new card, okay. Whoa, I thought this was an old skill, but this is a generic skill for Quattro and probably Trey, I believe, as well. Place one spell card in your hand underneath one Xyz material you control as material, once per duel. Huh. I guess this kind of gets around the whole if you have your Giant Grinder and you have a Perform Puppet in hand. I guess that's what they're thinking, because this is only good for one card on the field, right? So if you draw it, you make another material, and then you can just pop another card and do burn damage. I guess that's the kind of play they're thinking of here. We have Overlay Gain, Overlay Removal. We have the his actual skills. Gear Changer. Reveal one Gear Changer in your hand and change the level of a Gimmick Puppet on your field to either 4 or 8. Can be used once per turn or twice per duel. This is fine, but not really that great. It's a normal summon, which the deck only really has 2. It has the chair and this, like of ones you would probably play. This can duplicate a level, so I guess the thing here is if you have a level 4 on board, you can then make it level 8, then summon this, make this level 8, and then go for an Exceed, right? I guess that's the play, which isn't bad, right? It's making sure this is kind of always live, for whatever situation you want it for. So this might be a fun free-to-play skill, right? Like, if you want to do a strictly free-to-play version of the deck, this might be the better way to play it, but I'm not sure. Then we have a Gimmick Puppet replacement. Send up to 3 monsters whose total levels equal 8 from your hand to the graveyard to then search out any Gimmick Puppet that's level 8 in your deck. I guess you can then put like a Bisque Doll right into the graveyard, then search out level 8, right? You can do that to make it unaffected, or the Drury Doll. It's a fun little consistency skill that I don't think works right now. I feel like the Relinquish Puppet skill is just leagues and bound better than that for right now. Over time, maybe this becomes the better skill, but this can be used in a deck with dark machine types, so there is some Desperado synergy there, I guess, but I don't think you'd want to do that. I'm not sure. There must be some reason for this skill to work, right? Someone's going to figure it out, and maybe it breaks the deck. It probably won't, but cool. Not bad. Then we have Gimmick Puppet returning. Return all banished gimmicks in your to the graveyard. Once per turn, twice per duel. Okay. Obviously, you're going to be doing some banishing with the Drury Doll, and so I guess being able to reuse it is fine, but overall, this is still the better skill. This is just like, it's like comparing any of Kite's skills to Galaxy Photon. This is just the way better skill. But overall, I think they did Quattro pretty well. I think they've given him some really cool level ups compared to other characters we've had recently. Primo, Duke. Skill-wise, of course, instantly, way better. But it all depends on how Game Puppets do, and of course the box just came out, so everyone's going to kind of be playing it online, see if it's any good, and hopefully it is. I haven't gone into the box yet because, let's face it, Hyper Galaxy was kind of the only reason I wanted to go into it, right? And they've put Photon Orbital as the cover card, like as the card here. What? I guess it's the most used card because people already have Galaxy Eyes, right? So they're playing it. But that's kind of a shot in the foot to everyone that was kind of expecting Hyper Galaxy or whatever. So, yeah. But anyway, let me know down below what you think of Quattro in Duel Links. Of course, tomorrow's the Trey event, so I'll try to have a farm video up for that as soon as possible. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all in the next Duel Links video. See you then.